Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early. Daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. It's Sunday. Let's jump into our study group for warriors, for my hardcore heads. I got some desert music jamming. I got some incense going. I got some good tea brewing. So my mood is set. Set your mood right. Let's jump into it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is how we get down every single Sunday. Basically, I just go through my notes. I take notes every single day. It's part of the program that I live, that I coach. If you want coaching or mentoring, go to my website at skyazrael.com. So let's just jump into some mind, body, and soul. Let's philosophize on this stuff and see where we go with it. I was studying physics earlier in the week. I've been studying quantum physics a lot lately. I've been studying quantum physics for probably 20 years now, and I'm just about done with it. I got real fascinated with it for years, and I'm now just about done with it. I'm starting to think that it's a bunch of nonsense, and I could talk about this for a long time, but it's interesting to me how people who believe in block time and hold block time as a theory, and you can look into that if you want. It's interesting. Block time is an interesting theory. And I went way down that rabbit hole for a long time, thinking about block time, fourth dimensional aspects of time, how it goes in any direction and exists all at once, the future, the past, all these potential nows. Turn this music down so it doesn't distract you guys. But as I have been learning about block time, I've been running into this problem, a philosophical problem with physicists. See, many physicists, not all, but many, the quantum physicists, the block time people, they don't believe in free will, and I do. I believe in free will. We have free will. Quantum physicists roll their eyes at that. They laugh at that. That's ridiculous. You have no free will, according to the physicist. And why? Why did they go there? I don't want to get too heavily into this, but I've been wondering about liberal postmodernism and how it's infiltrated the university system and how it has infected physics departments. I don't think there's a conservative physicist anywhere out there in the world. And this definitely affects their view of things, their worldview. And there's a very strong progressive liberal belief that you have no free will. And this is a path towards socialism and communism, and that's the reason why they push that ideology, to try to convince people out of their personal freedom so it's easier to roll in government control. The university systems have been completely wrecked by postmodernist liberal ideology, by radical progressives. Well, let's move on, because that topic is rather controversial and we can go down that rabbit hole for a long time, and I got a lot to talk about. So let's philosophize a little bit on classic masculinity. Let's just change the direction a little bit. Talk about classic masculinity. There's all kinds of forms of masculinity. We've talked about masculinity on here a lot, and I have a belief that men are less masculine nowadays than they used to be, and then that's a problem. That's a big problem for Western civilization. So what is classic masculinity? It had a lot to do with a pride in self and in your own personal image and a certain kind of self-respect for yourself. I guess that's redundant. A certain sort of self-respect. So let's just go through some of this stuff. Classic masculinity, you can look at the old movies and get an idea of this, a model of this. Go look at any movie from the 1950s or the 1940s. There's no long hair in men. Men don't have long hair. There's no long hair amongst men. If you have long hair and you're a man, you're not as masculine as a short-haired man. You're not. Long hair is for women. I had long hair for a very long time, and I was one of those dudes that said, "I'll never cut it." Never say never. It's a good James Bond movie. James Bond is a very good role model for classic masculinity if you're looking for one. Especially, in my opinion, the not Roger Moore, who was before him? Sean Connery. Sean Connery. No facial hair. Now, facial hair is very trendy. All men are going with facial hair, and facial hair has this kind of caveman, Viking, kind of rough, masculine vibe to it these days. Look, when I grew up, the only people that had facial hair were hippies. Weak, emasculated, bitch-made men. The only people who had facial hair were hippies. Beatniks and hippies. The most weak men out there, the most emasculated feminine men out there had facial hair. It was not a sign of masculinity. Your big beard did not make you a man. It didn't make you tough. It made you look dirty, unrespectful, stupid. Go look at the old movies. Masculinity was clean cut. Shaving is a masculine ritual. Another way to be classically masculine is through classy casual attire or formal attire. To dress in pajamas or kids' clothes like most men do. With your flip-flops, your cargo shorts, your little printed t-shirts, and your little baseball caps and trucker caps, and people look like this every single day. You look like a child. You're not masculine. You're not a man. You want to be a man? Go dress like one. Go learn to look like one. Go watch an old movie. Even in shorts, a guy like James Bond looked like a boss. Stop wearing the sneakers so much. I have 12 pairs of sneakers. But don't wear them too much. Wear them when you're sneaking. Wear them when you're doing sport activity. But don't wear them for fashion or style. Only wear them for their intended use. Sneakers are utilitarian. For your everyday shoe, you should be wearing leather dress shoes. Not pleather, not fake leather. Children wear that stuff. You buy real leather and you take care of it. You know, it's funny because a lot of guys manscape up and, hey, I'm not looking, it's none of my business what you guys do. But it's funny because that was never a thing in the past. Classically masculine men never shaved up that way because that's what women did. Men are hairy. Men have hairy chests. There's guys that shave their chests. What the hell is wrong with you? You act like a woman. I'm going to tell you a secret. A lot of women really enjoy a man with a hairy chest. And I don't have a particularly hairy chest. I know a guy who's got such a hairy chest that when he's like wearing a t-shirt, the shirt doesn't even touch his skin. Like the hair keeps it up a level. He's like a gorilla. And I laugh at him, but his wife, this British, little redhead British chick, oh, she goes crazy over his gorilla chest. A man used to wear cologne. I've been wearing cologne this year. I bought way too many bottles of cologne. But men wore cologne. Masculine men wore cologne. They had a signature scent. Your dad, your grandpa, your uncle, they all had a signature scent. And it was typically some kind of cheap drugstore cologne. The women wore the real expensive department store stuff. Maybe your dad wore Brute 33 or, something that he picked up from the drugstore. The Cuba Gold, that was a popular one. You get that for like $10. That's been around since the 70s. Masculine men don't wear a lot of jewelry. If you're gonna wear a ring, I wear a pinky ring that I've been wearing every single day. I don't ever take this off, ever. Had to almost die to get it. But I'm not covered in rings, and I'm a biker. And I have skull rings and all those kinds of stuff in a little pile. I used to wear them on every finger. I stopped wearing all that crap. It's too bulky, it's too much, and it's feminine. A bunch of chains. I got a bunch of different chains. If you get the type of guy that's just loading up on chains, that street look, it's feminine. It's for women. It's not masculine. You can wear a watch, wear yourself a watch. You can get yourself your wedding ring or a pinky ring. If you're gonna wear a chain, wear one little chain and keep it tucked for most of the time. You don't have to be sporting that shit for everybody to see it. If you got a pendant, get a pendant that means something to you. It's not for everybody else. Emotionally, you want to stay stoic. That was what classic masculinity looked like. You weren't some overly emotional brat. Men didn't go riot in the streets. That's for children. Children go to protests. Children sit online screaming about their little beliefs all the time. Classic masculinity kept their mouth shut. Stoicism, it has a lot to do with saying less, speaking less, thinking more, being less attached to your emotions. Classic masculinity held politeness and respect as a core value. And anywhere you'd be in public, you were holding doors open for anyone, even for jerks. And you didn't do it for a response or for a thank you. You did it because you're setting an example, and this is the type of person you are, and it's a core value of who you are, to be respectful to all other citizens, to let them be judged by God, not by you. You don't go around judging people. You give that man respect. I don't care if he's homeless, I don't care if he's a janitor or if he's a billionaire. You treat them all the same. You treat them all with respect and all politely. Now, if they step out of line, then a gentleman, a masculine man, a traditionally classical masculine man will speak up for himself, absolutely. And will correct behavior and say, excuse me, but I don't like that, I don't appreciate that. That's totally not okay. Classic masculinity was strong, physically strong, not weak. Go look at the old movies. There's very few fat weaklings, very few guys who are just out of shape. Now, there's not any bodybuilders. That bodybuilding shit is also super feminine, bunch of mirror boys, way too focused on their bodies. That's absolutely feminine. And a lot of bodybuilders are homosexuals, and I don't know if you guys realize that, but they are. They absolutely are. My brother was a bodybuilder when he was in his early 20s, and he ran into that, where he was just like, dude, these guys are all faggots. Classic masculinity paid attention to their health. They didn't eat a lot of junk food. Junk food is for children. A man knows how to make himself a healthy meal. It's all about survival. Survival in a positive way. Not like some kind of idiot child who grabs a bag of chips and eats a bologna sandwich. No, a man can make himself a steak and some potatoes and make it right. Maybe a little broccoli or something with it and have himself a real meal. A man is quietly confident. You don't have to be loud, you don't have to be pushy, overbearing. Guys like that are immature, childish. It's obviously just some overgrown teenager trying to brag about all kinds of shit. That's not confidence. Confidence is a guy who's got the Bugatti and you never even knew it. Confidence is a guy who's got the mansion and he never even told you about it. Confidence is a guy who's got the muscles and he's not flexing with some little string t-shirt or whatever. He's actually wearing real men fashion. Classic masculinity is lighthearted. You got to give up some of that seriousness because that's your attachment to your emotion. Classic masculinity can be witty. And while everybody's sitting there arguing about politics at the dinner table, the classically masculine gentleman can just kind of make it all into a big joke, have good timing. And classically masculine man never chases women ever. He doesn't chase women. Chasing women is for teenagers and little boys, little horny little teenagers. A classically masculine man is absolutely in control of his desires. He works on himself in every way, mind, body, and soul, and women chase him because he's desirable. He's alpha. The betas chase women because they're desperate. They don't want to be alone and they cry at night, clutching their pillow, pretending it's a woman. The classically masculine man does none of that. He meets women along his path, along his journey. It's all just food for thought. I got 7 more pages of random stuff, but we ran out of time. Have a great Sunday.